Hi everyone, my name is Cylcia Manwa. I'm 19 and I'm a councillor for the ward of Tilbury Riverside and Thurrock Park. So for me, political sort of literacy and engagement amongst young people is something that's really, really important, and is something that unsurprisingly I tend to want to embody since I am 19 and in local government, which is something quite unusual for most people my age. The average age of a councillor is 60. So for me to be in these positions, it's something that I take with a certain level of, responsibility. And I feel like it's important that we advocate for the voices of young people. And I think that one of the major things which is an issue is austerity, because of course austerity impacts everybody in our society, but it also has a disproportionate impact on young people. And so today I want to talk about why that is such an issue and ways that I think it can potentially be resolved, which is actually quite straightforward in my opinion, and just the importance of having young people and our voices listened to in the political arena. So unsurprisingly, we've had 13 years of a Conservative government, and as a result of that, we've just had austerity cut after austerity cut, and that has impacted a range of different services, both on a local and on a national level. So Sugar Start Centres, which was something under the New Labour sort of administration, those were cut as soon as, 2010 more or less came about. Those were sort of shut down, closed off. And a lot of youth provisions were also cut and underfunded. And in turn, this has a host of impacts on young people, their chances of social mobility, and it disproportionately impacts young people coming from disadvantaged backgrounds, working class backgrounds, if they're an ethnic minority. And so for me, as someone who I would say I've come from both a working class and ethnic minority background, I think it's really important that we shine a light on why youth services are so important. So if I use myself as an example, I came through the youth cabinet on my journey to becoming a councillor. Between the age of about, I'd say 13 to 14 to about 18, I was a part of my local youth cabinet, ran by my local council, and the main kind of aim of it was to get young people in a room from the local area of Thurrock together to talk to different stakeholders in our society and to kind of ask them the questions that matter to us. And so we managed to have opportunities to sit in interviews for like the Director of Children's Services for the council, and to talk to the police and firefighters and just different actors in our kind of local community. And we can see what they're doing and what they're doing to specifically kind of help young people, because these are the developmental kind of years of our lives as we get into like teenagehood and eventually become an adult and get into the working world. It's really important that there's funding there to actually support aspirations and dreams, because I talk especially on behalf of working class children, teenagers growing up. Our parents are oftentimes, busy. They have 9 to 5s, they're working, they're trying to provide for their families. And so in that sense, it's important that there's youth provisions there so that young people, when they come home from school, there may not be anyone home, maybe the parents are working or doing something else. The children have a place to go to kind of let loose and blow off steam and maybe do sports and different activities and just have a safe space to just let off steam, even a quiet place to do homework before they have to get home and do what they need to do to prepare for the next day. Because if we don't have these sorts of provisions for young people, especially for the groups that I've just mentioned, it does go hand in hand with like antisocial behaviour and problems in our society. And sometimes I think it's very easy. I sit in a lot of these rooms, I go to a lot of meetings, and a lot of the time it's very easy to blame young people that, children of today, they have no manners, they have no sense of, responsibility and decency. However, I think it's very easy to kind of overlook the systemic wider issues which would contribute as to why they're on the street in the first place. I think that seriously needs to, be taken a look at, because all these things from like a sociological perspective, it's quite interesting to see how different factors in the upbringing of a child can impact their outcome and the way in which they engage within society and a community. And so I think it's very important that we don't just negatively stereotype young people as being unruly or people that don't know what they want, but rather people that a lot of the time are just searching for direction and are trying to navigate their way through quite a difficult stage of life at some points. So I think with austerity, of course, that's just not helping the situation at all. I think funding from central government to local services is just not enough. I see it day in, day out with local government as I work, with the council. In my particular instance, our council is bankrupt to the tune of £1.5 billion, which doesn't help. And recently, Birmingham City Council declared bankruptcy as well, which is something which is having a knock-on direct impact on the provisions for young people. So in my instance, the provisions of youth services are going to be seen to be cut. And that is something which is quite disappointing and is something that I'm going to fight against. But as a whole, I think that austerity impacts everybody in our society in different ways, but it's very unfortunate that I feel like it has some of the most detrimental impacts on young people. And yeah, I implore the government to sort of do better. However, under the current government, unsurprisingly, as a Labour councillor, I don't think that's going to happen. So I hope that young people will be put at the forefront of decision making, because at the end of the day, we are the future and we do make up the present society.
Hey, thank you for taking time to watch that video. Here at the Common Sense Network, we thrive on exposing you to different ideas. If you're someone who likes ideas, you like learning new things, hit the subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you're first to hear when we have a new video out.